Hey guys, I hope you're having a good week. I almost did not put out a video this week just because it's been so hectic. We started back the homeschool lessons, like the full scope of the subjects instead of just reading in math as we've done through the summer. And so that's taken a big chunk of my brain power. And then my book, I just released a new edition of it. So a lot of my thoughts went into that and getting that done. That was just yesterday. And then I'm not gonna lie, like the energy vampires really are just out there right now going for it. I don't know if it's eclipse season or what, but it's hard to keep that spark when you got people coming at you with their dark. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. This video is over astral projection and lucid dreaming. Astral projection is essentially when your, spirit self, leaves your physical self and can travel. That's why it's called astral travel. But projection, because you're projecting yourself outside your body. And then lucid dreaming is essentially where you go from being a passive participant in your dream, where you just kind of let the dream happen, to becoming active, realizing you're in a dream and letting yourself go with that, allowing yourself to have control of it. And it's funny, my first time with lucid dreaming was because of a Blue's Clues episode. I think they had gone into a painting, but it was like this little girl was having scary dreams, like a little cartoon girl. And Steve's like, all right, well, concentrate really hard and we can change your dream into something fun. And it was I think it turned into like a birthday party or something. I don't know. It was a long time ago. But anyway, after that, I started actively trying to change my dreams. And I remember, the first time, it happened, I became aware, I was like, I'm going to make these roller skates, rocket roller skates in my dream. And, at first it took a minute for it to go, because my brain's like, that's not what I programmed for tonight. But eventually it did. And then another time, I was dreaming I was on the playground, and this kid was on the monkey bars. And I decided I wanted laser vision, like Cyclops. And so I was laser visioning the monkey bars he was on to make him really hot. And I was getting frustrated because Dream Him wasn't going along with it. And I'm like, hey, I am literally laser beaming these to make him hot. And Dream Him starts pretending to do it. And that's kind of where it ended in I guess I just never realized I was in a dream for a really long time after that. But I do remember those two instances of lucid dreaming because they were so crazy. They were so funny. It was such a kid dream. Anyway, it's only been in recent years that I've tried lucid dreaming again. And I mean, there's not really much. Like I said, I wasn't really prepared for this week. I don't have my notes or stuff. So I guess I can just give you some tips to lucid dream. They say if you lay on your back, it's easier. Oh no, that's astral projection. Sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. For lucid dreaming, you give yourself an indicator. Randomly snap your fingers and say, I'm awake, throughout the day, so that way you'll get in the habit, so when you're dreaming you'll do it. And I've noticed recently, since I've started lucid dreaming again, is that the mind or whatever does not really want you taking control. I've noticed I'll wake up and be like, okay, I'm gonna go here, and somehow it'll find a way to trap me into a dark alley every time. One time I was like, I'm awake, and I decide I'm gonna go flying down the road to go see if I can see anyone else lucid dreaming. And then somehow a dark alley, always a dark alley. So if you guys know anything about that, let me know, because I'm always down for learning something new or finding out why. So the second thing was astral projection, and I don't know if it's like a hereditary thing, but it's definitely hereditary in my family. Like my dad always, and like he's like the biggest, I guess, skeptic ever. Like but astral projection's never been one because he experienced it. It started, about teenage years for him, and he talks. He's like, yeah, he's like, at first I just float up to the ceiling. He's like, but eventually I got really good. He's like, I could dive under furniture and everything. He's only mentioned meeting like a scary voice or something once. And so it's always been a pretty positive experience for him. Me, I think it was about the same, like teenage years, like I started to experience astral projection unwillingly. I should probably add that, like I wasn't trying to. And it got bad enough that because I think it might be because ghosts just randomly ghost spirits, whatever, come to see me on purpose. But I would have the same thing. I'd be like floating up and like sticking my hand up to the ceiling, unable to like stop. Like I'm just floating up and hitting the ceiling. And there was a lot of times there would be something there. Like I remember one time, like I couldn't see it, but I could feel 3 older women talking about who was going to claim my body and stuff, which was scary. The only other time, I know there was like so many, but it's not coming to me right now. But I remember this time, it was right after I got pregnant with my daughter and we were living in my apartment. I floated up to the ceiling again in the apartment, but there was a man, like an older man with like still gray hair and a very nice suit. I remember there was like this like bright green ascot or something, and he looked very grandfatherly, and he was just looking at me, and I had no idea what was going on. And I think that might have been the last like full time like I made it. And it's kind of funny because my daughter astral projects a lot. Since she was a baby, people would be like, I just saw your daughter like at this place, or people would be like, when we were driving, you'd swear she went out the window even though she was sleeping in the back. And she's always talked about her whole life. She's like, yeah, I think everybody can astral project. Don't you astral project? And she's like, one time I astral projected and I saw 2 men talking in front of an old clock. And just like, it's always been very natural. It's never been scary because she's done it her whole life. But I always thought it was funny that the last time I did it, I was already pregnant with her. And I don't know, like I've read some places about how in like reincarnation, which I'll probably do a video on later. I know I will. Anyway, there's been accounts in reincarnation when children have mentioned seeing a man in a suit that brought them to see their parents or to choose their parents. So sometimes I wonder, is that what the man in the suit was doing, was introducing her to me and I just happened to like fly out at that time, or I don't know. That would be pretty, I think about it a lot. Anyway, as I mentioned before when I was talking about lucid dreaming, astral projection you can train yourself to do. As I mentioned, I had a lot of bad experiences with it, terrifying experiences with it. So I've like accidentally trained myself not to do it. It happens a lot when I was sleeping on my back. So now I can't even, like if I flip to my back in my sleep, I will immediately flip over. And I guess I can't really talk about it without talking about sleep paralysis, because I feel like sleep paralysis, for me at least, sleep paralysis happens right before I astral project. And it all depends on what you think sleep paralysis is. I have, like, I should probably point out, like, I have been tested and everything for all type of stuff. I have temporal lobe epilepsy, so that I've always kind of had my brain monitored and stuff. But yeah, I've never, when it came to like sleep paralysis, they never really had an answer for me, and the things I experienced through it. But because of it, anytime I would roll to my back, I would immediately like flip over because of so much, I guess trauma, or like being scared that I would have sleep paralysis or astral projection. And something I've learned over the years, if you experience sleep paralysis, like, the panic is what makes it worse. Like, I know, like, you have that feeling like you can't breathe and stuff, but I've learned it's all in your head. Like, if once you feel like that tingly heaviness, if you can just sit there and allow yourself to breathe through it, you will either astral project or wake up, you know? But it's all about becoming aware and allowing yourself not to panic. I think that's the way with most situations. Like, as soon as you allow yourself to find that calm, you can usually work through anything. I've heard some people say for like astral projection, like getting at an angle, like sitting in a seat and not moving for 7 minutes, you can do it. I wish I had written down some more, but it's just been such a hectic week. A lot of people, I know there's a lot of big, like, spiritual TikTokers who do a lot with the astral. I don't, like I said, it was scary. If you have, let me know. I'm always willing to learn more. I think that's really cool. Like, I kind of would want to get back into it. Every time I flip, I get scared. Like, I feel like I'm, like, I'd handle it better. Like, I know how to tell some entities off versus when I was, a teenager and younger and easily scared. Like I said, lucid dreaming I've gotten better at, other than being stuck in an alley all the time. But, yeah, I know there's been some, like, government programs that have used astral projection, and, like, I don't know if remote viewing is the same as astral projection, but I feel like it's got to be somewhere in the parking lot of it. I think that's really all I have right now. If you guys have any thoughts, let me know. Anyway, you guys have a great week, and I will put out a video probably on Reincarnation Thursday, since I brought it up now. Next Thursday. Anyway, you guys have a great time. Love you.